Close your eyes for 10 seconds and picture absolute emptiness. No land. No ships. No planes. No other human voice for over a year. Only the sound of waves slapping a tiny boat and your own heartbeat reminding you that you are still alive. 438 days of this. Most people lose their mind in 72 hours. José Salvador Alvarenga did not just survive it. He came back carrying knowledge that powerful people decided the world should never hear. This is the longest, most detailed version of his story you will ever find. Stay until the very last second because every minute you watch will feel like you are drifting with him. My name is Luminous Shadows and tonight you are going inside the true story that still haunts the United States Navy. José Salvador Alvarenga was born in El Salvador, but life pushed him across the border to Mexico. By 2012 he had been a fisherman for 15 years. The village of Costa Azul knew him as the man who always shared his catch, the one who carried children on his shoulders during festivals. He stood 5'8", thick chest, arms like rope from pulling nets since he was 14. His daughter Fatima was 8 years old, born with a heart condition that needed expensive medicine. Every trip to sea was for her. That morning of December 2012 he woke at 4 a.m., drank strong coffee, kissed his sleeping daughter, left money under her pillow, and walked to the beach whistling. His boat was simple, 25 feet long, no cabin, no toilet, no shade, just a small icebox and a cooler of drinking water. His helper that day was Ezequiel Cordoba, 23, quiet, respectful, first big trip with Jose. They loaded 700 pounds of bait, 200 liters of fuel, and pushed off at sunrise. The sea was glass. Jose turned back once, waved at the tiny figure of Fatima on the shore, and shouted, "Tomorrow we buy the doll." 4 hours out the weather changed fast. A northerly wind called El Norte hit the coast without warning. By noon the sky turned black. By 3 p.m. the waves were 30 to 40 feet high. The little boat climbed mountains of water and fell into valleys so deep the sky disappeared. The engine coughed, swallowed water, and died forever. Their radio antenna snapped like a toothpick. They threw everything heavy overboard to stay afloat, icebox, spare fuel, even their shoes. For 4 straight days and nights the storm dragged them west at 10 knots, farther than any rescue helicopter could ever reach. When the wind finally stopped, the silence was worse than the screaming storm. They were already 500 miles from land. No one was coming. The brutal art of staying alive days turned into weeks. They collected rainwater in plastic bottles and their mouths when storms came. They learned to spot sea turtles sleeping on the surface. Jose would dive naked into the water, grab the turtle by the neck, flip it upside down so it could not swim, and haul it aboard. They drank the blood first, warm and thick like soup. Then they cut the liver and ate it raw. When no turtles appeared they caught triggerfish and ate the eyes for moisture. They chewed the spines of sharks to suck out the spinal fluid. They even ate their own fingernails when hunger became unbearable. The sun cooked them alive. Saltwater sores opened on their legs and never healed. Sharks followed the boat constantly, bumping the hull at night, waiting for the next body to drop. By day 60 Ezequiel began talking to people who were not there. He saw his mother cooking on the boat. He saw buses driving across the water. He refused to eat raw meat anymore, said it tasted like poison. Jose forced fish into his mouth while Ezequiel cried. By day 100 Ezequiel weighed less than 80 pounds. One morning he sat up, looked at the empty horizon, and said, "Jose, I am going home now." He lay down and never moved again. Jose held him for 12 hours, rocking him like a child, singing every song from their village. When the body began to smell he wrapped it in a piece of sail and pushed it gently into the sea. He kept one of Ezequiel's shirts and tied it to the mast so the wind would make it wave. For months he spoke to that shirt every sunrise and every sunset. By month 6 Jose Copyright began seeing things too. He saw the coastline of Mexico appear and disappear. He saw Fatima running toward him on the water. He tried to end it twice, once by jumping overboard with rocks tied to his feet, but something pulled him back into the boat. He later said a hand he could not see lifted him. He started writing letters on pieces of plastic with fish bones, letters to his daughter, to his mother, to God. He threw them into the ocean believing the currents would carry them home. Month 9, day 273. No moon. The sea suddenly turned bright turquoise for miles in every direction. The glow came from below, not the surface. José Copyright stood up and looked over the edge. Hundreds of figures swam beneath him in perfect formation. They were tall, over 7 feet, bodies perfectly proportioned, skin that shifted between silver and black. No gills, no fins, just grace. Their eyes glowed soft white and looked straight into his soul. One rose closer to the surface until José Copyright could see the face clearly. It smiled. Then he heard the voice inside his head, calm, ancient, speaking perfect Spanish with a rhythm like music. Do not be afraid. We have always been here. You were never alone. That night they began teaching him. Night after night they returned. They showed him cities of black glass and living light resting 5 miles beneath the surface. They showed him tunnels wide enough for submarines that connect every ocean on Earth. They showed him machines that harvest energy from the Earth, a Euro trademark S-Core, machines that have worked without stopping for 15,000 years. They told him humanity once lived in harmony with them, long before the Great Flood recorded in every culture. They said the time of separation is ending. Water will rise again, not to destroy, but to reunite. They gave him star maps that work only when viewed from the ocean. They taught him to navigate by feeling the magnetic pull of underwater mountains. And every time he was about to die, food appeared, rain appeared, strength returned. Day 438. José woke to the sound of birds screaming overhead. Thousands of them circling one spot. He paddled with broken pieces of the boat for 6 hours until he saw palm trees. Ebon Atoll, Marshall Islands, 6,700 miles from Mexico. He beached the boat, crawled 20 meters up the sand, and collapsed. A local couple found him, thought he was a monster from the sea. They carried him to their home, gave him coconut water drop by drop. He cried when he tasted fresh water for the first time in over a year. Within days the U.S. Navy arrived. They took him to a secret facility in Hawaii. For 3 weeks they recorded every word. When he drew the underwater cities and marked exact coordinates, satellite imagery later confirmed strange structures at those depths. When he repeated the final message, "Tell them we are coming up soon, we never left," the lead investigator closed the file and said, "This interview is over." José was released with money and a plane ticket home. 16 days later he was found dead in a small hotel in El Salvador. Age 37. Official cause, heart attack. No autopsy released. His family was told never to speak about the ocean beings. José Salvador Alvarenga is the only verified human to cross an ocean in a small boat with no engine, no sails, no supplies. Science still cannot explain how his body survived. But the ocean explained it to him every single night. The deep remembers us. And one day soon it will speak again. Type the word awake if this story touched your soul. Type rise if you want the next video about the Antarctic research station that found a doorway under the ice. Subscribe to Luminous Shadows right now and turn on the bell. Because some truths only come out in the dark.